What's up, YouTube? And welcome. Chicken Eye Garage. Now, if y'all saw that opening clip, that's how we ended the last video. We let the smoke out of that 185/75/14 because in that last video, we took care of a little go pedal action. We also replaced that raggedy no count leaky transmission pan with a new one. And that thing ain't leaking a drop, so I believe that is solved. We also located the battery in the back of the bed with a Moroso battery box, cabled it off, new ignition switch, the whole nine there. So now I can start this truck up inside the cab, give it the gas, and all that other stuff. So if you'd like to check that video out to kind of get you up to date, matter of fact, why don't you just click on the playlist? You can be dialed in all day long watching this mug right here. That way you'll be caught up as to where we're at currently today. But now that we got the go pedal working, we need to get that stop pedal stopping. Did you see that opening clip? That's what I call stupidity. We have a saying in this shop, and it goes like this right here. The difference between a regular idiot and me is that I'm a finely tuned idiot. Now, a few weeks ago, off camera, had a little downtime. I wanted to take an assessment of all the brake components and see what was good and what wasn't. So I had my wife help me. I filled that thing up with brake fluid, and we commenced to bleeding the brakes to see what would work and what didn't. And the survey says nothing works. But 3 out of the 4 wheels did skeet a little fluid, but the right rear passenger decided not to. So we'll have to investigate that when we get to the rear portion of the brakes, which I believe I'm gonna do today. And then we'll sneak our way forward, and we gotta do the front brakes as well. Now, they do make wheel cylinders for this truck, but they don't make a rear hose, and they don't make reman calipers. But I'm gonna go ahead and rebuild those calipers. So I'm hoping that piston, the bore, and all that stuff isn't severely deteriorated, and we can clean it up, put it back together with the new seals, and get those brakes to working. I do have front hoses, and like I just said, for whatever reason, they don't carry rear hose. But if it's severely deteriorated, then we may have to take it off, go to a hose shop and get one made. And then obviously master cylinder. I got a master cylinder, it looks identical to that one. So that should fit and plug, play, all that stuff. And that's probably how we'll do that last, because that's the last thing we're gonna need to start making brake stuff happen. And one more bonus, since I'll have that front wheel or front wheels off, and I'll have everything off in the mug, yeah, we'll take care of that little soft, no count shock. So I got a couple of Gabriels over there. We'll put those on when we get to the front. All right, you've been updated on what we're doing today. So let me open the door so I can jack the back of the truck up. We'll snatch those wheels off and see what we gotta do. All right. All right, I got her jacked up. I wanted to give y'all a little bit of a shop update. We'll get back in the shop here in a minute and I'll show you what I've done in there. But let me go ahead and show you what I've done out here. Oh yeah, guys, look at that. Look at that. We got a little crete off here, all the way to the back. Now, I would like to have concrete go inside the shed, but that would be a massive undertaking to do. I'd have to empty everything out. And I talked to the guy, he says he could do it, but he'd have to elevate it up, and we may do that at some point in the future, or just not worry about it. I need to get the old taco gate on this thing. She's been sun weathered, and she's got that kind of that wood patina look. So I'm liking the way this looks. I think it's about ready to scuff up and put a little clear on it, and then install that taco gate. Look at that, more concrete. Now, I'm not a concrete specialist, but this stuff's been laid out for about a week, and generally new concrete kind of turns white, very light gray. However, I don't know, yeah, I don't know why it's still dingy brown looking. And then we got concrete back here tied off into the original pad. Yeah, now I gotta do some landscaping. I'm not much of a landscaper, but I gotta do a little something there to make it look a little better than just mud. I'll be honest with you guys, sometimes you get what you pay for. Now you see that kick out over there? Here, let me show y'all. Now look at that kick out. Look at that curve. That's a pretty good curve, right? This old curve, let's check this curve out as well. Yeah, pretty decent curve, if I do say so myself. Now, I told the guys, I kind of want a curve like that. I think that looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than just a sharp angle. Let me show you the curve I got. It's a little chilly and cloudy today. If I'd have saw that while they were making and forming it, I would have said something. Y'all need to put y'all's chicken eye on it and get that curve to curve. That's a curve. I don't know what this is, but at the end of the day, it's better than what was here, which was nothing. Even though I haven't parked on it, now I can park my van here. That way, when I need to drive the old 66, I can. Let's go back inside the shop for two reasons. One, I got more updates to show you, and two, it's cold out here. Oh yeah, guys, look at that. Look at that. Brand new lights. I even got one over here, and I also got 3 in my wife's garage. So now, this thing looks like 12 o'clock noon no matter what time of the day I turn them on. I really like how that turned out. I got 3 piggybacked on one switch, and then these 3 are tied into that switch. And so I got 2 spare outlets. If I need anything up in the air, I can plug something in. You can hardwire these in. There's a bunch of connectors that they give you. You can either plug them in to an outlet, or you can hardwire them in. I figured since those outlets are already there, just plug it in, kind of cable it off, kind of tidy it up. So much better than what was hanging off of those chains, which I do need to take those chains off. I did all this when the concrete guys were here, and so I had no way of pushing this out because their stuff was in the way. But I think once we get this thing running and driving to where I can move it and stop it, I can back it up and I'll take those chains off. The only other thing is a new toolbox. I got this, obviously it's a Husky brand, so that's Home Depot, but I like it. I like it. 24 inches deep, so that's pretty good drawer space there if you ask me. This is the part I like the most. Slow close, I like that. And I kind of added these shelves right here, little mini shelves, kind of build up. And I got some of my diorama stuff that I've built. I used to have time to do this stuff back in the day. I'll show you a quick shot of it. I've done a lot of cut down short beds. That's the D100. 3 C10s I cut down. And I like Mongoose bicycles because I had one when I was a kid. So I saw those vans, slammed those. Look pretty good. Suburban. S10s, Blazers. I like it. Police truck slammed. Looks good. I even added this shelf over here. More stuff I've slammed. UPS truck, because, you know, that makes sense. Looks pretty good. Slam service truck. Makes sense as well. I need to slam that Holly truck. Yeah, Greenlight makes these toys. And yeah, that needs to be slammed there. That looks pretty good. I like the 4x4 stuff too. I think it looks good as well. I even slammed a wagon on some old crappy Hot Wheels. And in that last video, I got me a new refrigerator. I think y'all saw that if you've been watching and subscribed. So I got that somewhat filled up with, you know, essentials. Oh yeah. Here's my other diorama I built. I was going to try to make this a little bit more elaborate, but I don't have time for this kind of stuff anymore, guys. Unfortunately, with work, with trying to do YouTube stuff, you know, the truck here, this truck, I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed doing it. I just don't have the time for it anymore. I wish I did, because it does take time, especially those cut down short beds. They're very time consuming. You're pretty much caught up. Fridge, lights, shelving, diorama, you know, the essentials, concrete, which I'm really excited about that. That turned out, except for that curve, overall, I give it a, I don't know, a B- as far as quality compared to price. I don't know if I got a good deal, but that was 6 G's. I had one guy quote me, and I don't know if you're sitting down, but you need to be. I had one guy, not to the back, just the side that stops to the edge of the shop, 12 foot wide, roughly 28 to 30 feet. $8 grand. I guess you get what you pay for. I paid 6 for everything you saw. And yes, they did use rebar. I watched that part. There is rebar in there. I even watched them drill holes into the slab. So I think they did it right. They just don't know how to do any curves. So let's get back in the old Vegas truck. Let me pull y'all in and show you this driver's side rear. A little bit of shoe. I mean, there's some good amount of shoe material there. As far as the drum, may not be able to see in the camera, but it's not too bad. A little bit, I mean a very, very fine amount of lip right there. So we can reuse these for sure. Well, now that you see the driver's side, let me pull that passenger side off. We'll assess that real quick, and we'll take everything apart so we can get them wheel cylinders off. Yeah, same deal back here. A little crusty, but everything's there. Nothing's broke or missing. Plenty of shoe left. And there's that drum. This one's a little bit more, it's got some ridges in it, or some lines. A little bit on the warp side, but there's no lip. All right, let's take all this stuff off so we can get to those. I forgot about the parking brake, which unfortunately we'll never be able to use because the whole mechanical cable pulley system they had went through the firewall, and it was all up in the way of that 350. So basically, this truck will more than likely never have parking brake. I'm gonna skeet this with a little fluid, a little penetrating oil, and I'm gonna go get something to eat, let that marinate. We'll come back, hopefully that stuff will all break loose. There we go. One crusty. Oof, you can see that falling now. Look at that. Yeah, see that? That's concerning when I start thinking about those calipers. Yeah, same rules apply. This thing's bad. All right, Ray Bestis is what I bought for wheel cylinders. See if it looks just like the original. Well, that's nice. It comes with these. I don't have to reuse the old ones. Thought I had to clean those up, but comes with new ones. Y'all see the thickness there? That's a big difference, but it may not matter. May not matter. As long as this part, well, I don't know, that looks a little different too, don't it? I don't know. There's only one way to find out. It's just go bolt it on and see what it looks like. All right, before I start installing everything back on, I wanted to go ahead and say something real quick. You might be asking, why don't you just replace everything and be done with it? That would be the smart thing to do, and generally I like doing that. But there's 2 reasons. One, I'm trying to do this on the cheap, and none of this stuff is really damaged. The shoe's got a lot of life in it. drums really not that badly warped, it'll be all right. And two, this is really the main reason, if I keep this truck, if I get this on the road and I have fun with it and I really enjoy it and I decide I'm keeping it, I'm gonna want more power out that 350. And that's gonna translate into this little turd rear end exploding. So I don't wanna invest a bunch of money in these rear end and in these brakes, because you can't get parts for rear ends outside of maybe some wheel seals. I don't even think you can get bearings for them. I don't wanna waste any money or time trying to make this really nice. Just slap it back together and then we'll move over to the other side and get her done. And speaking of getting it done, I think I'm gonna get everything done without connecting the parking brake cable. So that means I'm gonna try to, I think it'll work. Just eliminate that bar and that little spring, the lever that the cable hooks into, that when you pull the cable, it pulls that and it makes the shoe come out. I took all that off. I'm gonna put it back together without it, because I don't think I'm gonna need it for the actual rear brakes to work themselves. I'm gonna go ahead and put all this back together, and I'm not wasting y'all's time. If you want to learn how to put drum brakes back together, this ain't the video for you. You just look it up, or you know, whatever you got to do there. I'm just gonna time lapse through it, get her done, and then we'll move to the other side and repeat the whole process. All right, work to do. And just like that, we're done with the passenger side. Let's go to the driver. Believe it or not, it's a couple of days later, and I already took care of the driver's side rear. Everything went back, came apart and went back together just like the passenger. I got the new wheel cylinder in there, cleaned up all the hardware, cleaned the shoes and the drum. Looks pretty decent. I thought I might as well go ahead and drain this out, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know what's in here. Hopefully it's just good old-fashioned used gear oil, but it might be gear oil mixed with water. It might be pure water. Heck, it might even be fruit punch Kool-Aid. Who knows? Let's find out. Wow. Oh! I had to put that 10 on that leaf spring, get a little leverage on there. Well, it smells like gear oil. Looks like it as well. I'm gonna let that drain, and then we'll fill it up with some gear oil. Go to the front. Yeah, you might hear some banging and clanging going off next door. That's my neighbors getting a new roof. I would say it's about a month ago or so, we had some serious straight line winds come through, and I ain't crapping you, 70 to 80 mile an hour at time winds. And so their roof got damaged pretty good. I had all kind of shingles all up in my yard. It is what it is, it happens. Hopefully they go to that 30-year shingle, that's what you need. Them old square 20-year shingles ain't no count. Got the front end lifted up. Now let me go ahead and pull them 14-inch wheels off. I tell you what, them old hubcaps look pretty good, don't they? Gives it that factory stock look with a little bit of a sleeper status with that 350 under the hood. Well, hood's over there, but you know what I mean. So there is a 1976 Chevy Luv brake rotor. You can tell how rusty that is too. That's bad, ain't it? Oh yeah. And I don't think they make rotors for these. They don't make calipers for these. I think you can get brake pads, which I may or may not need. We'll find out once we take this apart. See how bad that brake hose is. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with some Get 'em Loose juice. Let that marinate for a minute, and we'll start seeing if any of this stuff will come apart. All right. One driver's side caliper. All right, we're over here at the workbench, and I can tell you right now, I'm gonna need brake pads. Yeah, there's nothing there. So I may have to go back on Rock Auto or maybe see if O'Reilly has some. I don't know if I've ever checked them. I'm definitely gonna need brake pads because that's gonna be metal on metal. That one's got a little bit left, but I mean, when I say little, I mean none. There's really nothing there. It's a very intricate looking system. I don't know if y'all can see that in the camera. They got all kind of, there's no bolts that hold the caliper to this disc brake bracket here, because generally this will bolt to the spindle and the caliper is always separate. A lot of times it's either a bolt or a pin or something, but yeah, it's got some weird clips. I think what I'm gonna do is set her up on the bench vise and see if I can take her apart. All right, I got the cap. Where'd y'all go? Oh, I moved. Oh yeah. I thought y'all were still over there. Little get them loose juice, see what happens. I'm gonna let that sit for 2, maybe 300 hours. Once it's, I guess, soaked in, maybe it'll come apart and be rebuildable. All right, she's been marinating for about 15 minutes. You know, this caliper's been stuck in this position since 1997, so 15 minutes should be enough time. I don't want to push the piston all the way in. I want to break it free in the bore. Hopefully I can pull it out, because that's what I need it to do. That's a good sign, it broke free. Let me grab some vice grips. I might go ahead and use that hot wrench, vice grips, see if that thing will work itself out. Man, this is what I was afraid of. Not coming apart. All right, I got a little idea. Wow. All right. Make sure you're facing the other way when the piston shoots out. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Look at that. I think that'll clean up. Ooh, what's the bore look like? Let's find out. I don't know. Let me hit this thing with a wire wheel, knock some chunks and crust off of it, and see what it looks like then. I don't know if y'all can see in there, I'm doing the best I can. And it's pretty pitted right in that area. I still got a lot of rubber to clean up, because I guess with me heating it up, it baked in there. A little chaotic up here on the workbench, ain't it? That's how it is working on these old trucks that's been sitting for 20, 30, 40 years, and then you start trying to take stuff apart. This is what you got to do. All that rust just sets and does its thing, and when it's time to break it free, it can be annoying. And more often than not, you know, you've seen rust before, it will ruin metal to where it's unusable at that point. But I think, like I showed y'all, even though that bore ain't perfect, I think it'll be reusable. And that piston needs a little cleanup, but it looks pretty good as well. So I think this caliper is salvageable. I hope that passenger one is as well. All right, at this point, I'm just rambling on, but you've gotten about 1.5 minutes of mug time. Yes. Catch y'all tomorrow. Oh yeah, that's looking halfway decent. What's up, guys? So today is a new day. I'm actually taking a 4-day weekend because today, April 10, 1977, old Charlie Chicken Eye was born. That's right. Tell you what, when I shot out the hole, I hit the whole hospital room with the chicken eye. And then after that, the old nurses cleaned me up, got me dialed in. I scanned the room with the chicken eye again, and I did the first thing that came to mind. That's right, I hit him with a little mug time. From April 10, 1977 to April 10 of 2025, I've been hitting everybody with a little glimpse of this mug. To pick back up on the video, we're gonna go ahead and start reassembling that caliper. I got that bore cleaned up as best as I can. It's got a little pitting here and there. So piston's got a little bit right there. And it's kind of a little bit right there in that lip. Obviously inside here is really bad. Very, very pitted. But that faces out, so that doesn't matter. Backside. Overall, this looks good. And reassembly on that caliper and piston should go pretty good. I already inspected the seal kit, and it is the correct one. It will work with this caliper assembly. So let's go back to the workbench and start putting things together. All right. First thing we'll do is go ahead and put that square O-ring in here. I believe that's what seals the whole piston off, so put that in first. Let me skeet this with a little, spray that O-ring as well. Make sure that's in there flush. I think next, put the piston in. It feels right. Definitely felt smooth, didn't feel no immediate resistance. So I think we did that right. I think the more challenging part is going to be putting this O-ring, and then I got to put that snap ring. It's like it's kind of grooved right there on the inside. Let's use the old snap-on pocket screw stick here. Snap ring. Oh yeah, I think it's in there. I believe that's correct. Double check, make sure that ring, that snap ring was seated inside that groove. Looks like it is to me. We won't know obviously until we put a little brake fluid in it and build it with some pressure. I think it's gonna be all right. So yesterday, I went to O'Reilly's and ordered some brake pads. They're supposed to be here this morning, so I think around lunchtime I'm gonna go grab something to eat. Yeah, it's about 10:20 now, so here in about an hour I'll probably leave, go get those brake pads, and then come back and we'll start putting all this back together. But I think what I wanna go ahead and do first is try to remove that rotor. It looks like it's a two-piece deal because there's 6 nuts, or technically bolts, holding the actual hub to the rotor. And I kind of want to take those apart because that rotor is pretty rusty and pitted, but I want to kind of knock that scale off as best I can. That way when I put it back together, the surface will be somewhat smooth. I could go get them turned, but as pitted as they are, they'd have to take a lot of material away to get that back smooth, and it probably would be too thin at that point. I'm just gonna leave them be. They're gonna do what they gotta do, because honestly, I don't even know if I'm gonna be keeping any of this suspension stuff if I keep the truck. A lot of people convert to coilovers and stuff and get rid of all that junky crap, torsion bar and all that stuff. So we're just trying to do the bare minimums to get that stop pedal to do the stop thing again. So let's turn around that camera and pull that rotor off. See how rusty that is? That's pretty pitted. I think it would take a lot of material away to get this down to smooth metal, and that might make this rotor too thin. But then again, I don't know. There is a lot of meat there. I don't think I'm gonna mess with it though. I think what I'm gonna do is put a flap disc on a grinder, smooth this out, clean it up best I can. However, on this side, it's gonna be a little different because I can't really get in there very well with this being in the way. So I think I'm gonna marinate those bolts with a little penetrating oil, let that set for a while. We come back from lunch and we'll try to break those loose because I don't want to break them, then have to deal with all that. So let me marinate that really, really good. Might even heat them up when we get back, And hopefully those bolts will spin off really easy. And then we can take the hub off and smooth this part off as well. All right, we back from lunch. He's been marinating this whole time, so 14mm impact socket, old school snap-on air impact. Let's see what happens. There it is. One rusty, crusty rotor. All right, there it is. A nicely textured rotor. Hey, maybe that'll help with stopping. I don't know. All right, let me finish cleaning all this stuff up. Need to spend a little bit more time on this rotor. Probably pack it with some grease, clean these bolts up, put it back together. Guys, let me be honest with you. I sat down in my chair to take about a 5 or 10 minute break, ended up falling asleep for an hour. Slid on there perfectly. Cleaned all that rust off, put a little grease around it, good as old. But the thing we'll do, went ahead and clean these bolts up as well. I'm gonna hit it with some 243 because I don't want these things backing out. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish Loctiting these up, zap them in, and then we'll go from there. Brake pads, got them. 20 bucks from O'Reilly's, not too bad. I think we can see the difference. That's nice, it's marked left and right. Now the fun part, I gotta put all this back together. That's why I did one side at a time. I didn't want to forget how all this goes back together. I figured it'd be easier to put it back together on the actual truck. There's holes right here in that little shim I just knocked in. That's where those little weird E-clip almost look like an octopus clip. Let me go get the octopus clips, pop those in. I guess we can replace the hose, and this side will be done. You thought I was being silly? Kind of looks like an octopus, don't it? At least it does to me. She is officially done. Let's go get the new hose. One crusty hose. There's the new hose right there. We need to take this adapter off real quick because it goes on the other side, and then we can put the new hose on. All right, got her viced up over here. I will say this, the new hose does not come with any copper washers. So if you're to do what I'm doing right now, save all that stuff. All right, let me clean that banjo bolt up. We'll clean this up, and then the hardware that holds on that big nut and all that stuff. Let me get all that cleaned up on the wire wheel, and we'll start putting it back together. Unfortunately, the new one, the hexed head portion of the hose is slightly smaller than the one I took off, so it ain't gonna catch that spot welded star tooth washer that's below. It kind of locks it in place. I'm just gonna have to use a wrench to tighten that nut. Not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. Yep, that looks good. One side of the brake system is officially done. Now I gotta do the other. So now I gotta do the passenger side. But we're gonna part ways on the video because I've already filmed one side. There's no sense in doing the other. But if I run into any scenarios that's hanging me up, or something that didn't happen on this side, I'll shoot a quick clip of it, show you what I'm dealing with, and then we'll go from there. And then once that side's done, we'll slap on the new shocks. I also need to put the sway bar back on. I got some new sway bar end leaks and the polyurethane bushings. It took a little bit of effort, but I found some universal setups that's gonna work, so I think I can put my bar back on. I just need to knock the crust and the dust off of it, skeet a little paint on it, put her back on. I'll go ahead and wrap it up out here in the shop. Look at my table. Oh yeah, that thing's a little rough. And I gotta do one more size. There ain't even no sense in cleaning that up, because it's gonna look like that once I do. Look at my view right now. Oh yeah, that's a good looking view. You know what else is a good looking view? I've never seen that before. That's crazy. New shocks right there. Gabriel. Nice painted white decal that's crooked. That's your little dust boot, and then the hardware to put it all back together. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up, clean the mess up that it made, clean that rubber, that dried up rubber that goes on the top, get all that cleaned up, knocked off, and I'll go ahead and knock out the other side, and then we can move on to installing the new master cylinder. Who knows? Today, we may have this thing back on the ground and be testing the brakes out for the first time since 1997. All right, work to do. One side down, one side to go. I'll probably have to tighten that up some more once all the weight of the truck is back down on the ground. It's probably gonna push that up a little bit. We'll have to tighten it up some more. And cleaned up the sway bar, new sway bar bushing, and the end links. More on that later. Well, there's the passenger shock. And I realized why it blew apart like it did. When I impacted that nut, the whole rod spun, and I guess it unscrewed to whatever's inside the body here. So when I took it apart, it just blew apart. So that explains that. All right, let me go ahead and put this shock on, and then we'll start removing the old master cylinder. I've already started soaking all these line nuts and then the hardware that holds everything in place. But this one right here, can y'all see that? It's twisting the whole line. I'm gonna have to heat that one up. I think this one did okay. Now that's actually twisting the whole line too. I don't want to twist these up because I don't have no way of making a new. Oh, okay, that one's okay. That one's not catching the line. So that one's okay. These two need the hot wrench. Oh yeah, that was it. Whew. Nice and hot. All right, for good measure, I'm gonna go ahead and heat that bottom one up. Just hit it for a few seconds and then break it free. I wonder if that booster's any good. I guess we'll find out soon enough. So there are the master cylinders. And as you can tell, there's the new one. They look pretty identical. Covers are slightly different. Got your threaded hole for the brace, capped off there, just like there. However, this little adapter right here feeds the passenger front caliper, and then this goes to the driver. And obviously this spout will feed the rear brakes. So I need that adapter, and hopefully I can make that work to the new master cylinder. So let me set this up on the bench vise here and see if I can remove that adapter. We're definitely gonna have to take this off because this is just a small hole for a brake line, and that's a bigger hole. Honestly, if I really wanted to, I could use it as is and just redo all the brake lines, but we ain't about to do that. We're gonna work with what we can. So let me get the correct size socket or wrench, whatever I can find. Hopefully I can take this piece off. There's the new one, there's the old one. The dust thread in there, so that's good. All I need to do now is just clean the rust and the crust off of this, along with the adapter as well. And we can put this on the new master cylinder and then take it back to the truck. I almost got ahead of myself. Probably wouldn't hurt to go ahead and try to bench bleed this. Now I've heard some people say it's a waste of time bench bleeding it. You can just do it on the vehicle, and that may be true, obviously. But I'd rather do it now, at least get most of the air out, if not all of it. That way when I bolt it up in there, then the only thing I have left to bleed is the actual air and the lines themselves. So let's commence to seeing if we can bleed this. We got 3 ports I got to deal with, so we'll see how that works. If it's there, then you know it's already there. All right. I think she's good to go. If it ain't, we'll do it at the truck. But for now, let me go ahead and take it to the truck. All right, guys, so as I don't want to waste film, we'll go ahead and get these lines threaded in and tightened up. And after that, I need to find me a vacuum line so I can connect the booster nipple to the carburetor. I think I got a 90 that I can screw in the back of that Edelbrock. And hopefully I got a piece of hose that are connected to. If not, I'll just have to go to the parts store and get one. But for now, let me go ahead and connect all this, and then we'll go from there. Well, that's the longest piece of 3/8 hose I got, but it is connected. At least for now, that'll let me know if this is any good or not, if it's holding vacuum like it should, and doing the power brake thing. And if it is, then I can get a longer hose, try to reroute this a little bit better, maybe even try to change this nipple right here to maybe a 90 degree versus this 45 deal. Or I might even make a hard line, who knows. So let me go grab my wife's right foot, start bleeding brakes. Again. Again. One more time. Again. Again. Again.
What she said.
Yeah. Again. Ooh. Again. Ooh.
What happened there?
I have no idea, but it skeeted hard.
Got excited?
I guess. Thanks to my wife for helping me bleed the brakes, I got a brake pedal. Went ahead and pushed on it, kind of confirmed it feels normal, like it should. Went ahead and checked all 4 corners, make sure there wasn't no leaks coming out of the fittings, wheel cylinders, calipers. Didn't see anything as of now, so I think everything's good. I gotta go ahead and put the wheels back on it, get it back down on the ground. I need to tighten my hardware, the end links and all that stuff. When you do that kind of stuff, you need to make sure it's on the ground at right height. That way when you tighten everything up, it's normal. Verify the top nuts on those shocks or where they need to be, tighten it up. There's a little cap nut you got to put on there, some kind of, I don't know, some kind of locking nut little thing you put over, I guess, the regular nut, and that'll be done. And to end this video, you know what we got to do? We got to test brakes, and we got to see if there's any more smoke in those tires. All right, I got some work to do, so let me get to it. So I thought I'd take a few seconds and show y'all the sway bar. The sway bar bushings are from Energy Suspension, along with the end links. Now that it's back down on the ground, everything's tightened up. So if you own a Chevy Luv, I will put a link in the description. That way, if you're interested in this stuff, you can purchase it. And I did not need to modify anything to make it fit. Everything worked out perfectly. gotta go around the block. The brake booster works. Doesn't feel like it. Hard to tell. The brakes ain't very good. Or as good as I hope they'd be. I am feeling it shifting to third, so that is good. I couldn't hear it in the last video, but it is shifting. This thing has a sensation of going fast. It feels like it's fast, don't it? This thing does have a shift kit. That is nice. Feel it very firm. What'd you think, buddy?
Good.
You liked it? I like it too. It's kind of fun. Yeah, the brakes ain't very good in the front. Might take a while for those pads and rotors to kind of mate. Probably wouldn't hurt to turn the rotors, but it is stopping. More than I can say in the last video. I don't need blocks to do burnouts, but they didn't want to do a burnout very easily either. Vegas truck feeling froggy today, decided to spin both of them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it ain't got a posi unit in it, but it did try to spin both. Looking good out here in the sun. Speaking of sun, it's my little buddy right there. All right guys, well, pretty much wraps this video up. The old Chevy Luv has brakes again. They don't work very well, but I think once we get some heat in those rotors, maybe they might work a little bit better. Those rotors need to be turned really, and I may have to do that if they don't stop any better than it is now. Might even have to put a line lock, because this thing really wants to go forward when you're trying to do a burnout. But so really there's 2 more videos that I got to make to really test this truck out on the road. Got to do a fuel system. Can't do the jug in under the hood anymore. Well, there ain't no hood, but you know what I mean. And then exhaust system. That way I don't have the earplugs and all that stuff. It's pretty loud like it is. We got a little bit more gas in that little white can right there. I'm thinking about running around the block some more. That was kind of fun. This thing is super peppy. I mean, you got a stock 350 on a lightweight truck like that. It's very, very quick. Barely touch the gas and it shoots forward really, really fast. What do you think? You want to go around the block one more time? All right, that's what we're about to do. We're going to ride around the block a couple more times, and I guess we'll go get something to lunch. We'll have to take the 66 for that though, because obviously this isn't ready to be driven yet. All right guys, like I always say, Until then, thanks for watching.
When you're doing this, it kind of sounds like you're gonna take me.
Oh yeah, that thing looks good.